Hi, I'm Maggie, and this is a 45-minute Power Basics yoga sequence. Let's get started in Child's Pose. Come onto your mat. From hands and knees, you're going to take your knees pretty wide on your mat, toes close. Rock your hips back and reach your fingertips forward enough so you can land your forehead down. And just start to slow your breathing through your nose. And the breath we use in this practice is called Ujjayi Pranayama, and it's special because there's a sound that comes from your throat as you breathe. It's like you're fogging a mirror, but with your mouth closed. So try that on. Now start to wake up your belly lock. Reach your fingers forward as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, draw your low belly in nice and tight. And do that again. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, like you're pushing the air out, tighten your belly in. And take one more breath. All right, press yourself up to downward facing dog. You're going to walk your hands in just a little bit. Press up and back. Bring your feet about hip width apart, hands about shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers nice and wide and point your index fingers toward the top of your mat so your fingers may face toward the edges a little bit. And then press down to send your hips up and back. And so traditionally, legs are pretty straight-ish. I like a little bend in my knees just because my hamstrings tend to be pretty tight, and that feels nice in my body. Take a couple breaths right here. If it feels good to pedal your feet out, you can do that. And take one more breath. All right, look forward. Step your feet forward. Bring them wide on your mat. Ragdoll pose. You're going to grab around your elbows. You can soften your knees here and just let your head hang nice and heavy. And like set your eyes up toward your belly button. Tuck your chin that much. And if it feels good to sway, you can sway a little bit side to side. And take a breath. All right, release your hands. Heel toe your feet toward each other. Press into your feet, reach all the way up, high mountain pose, big stretch. And exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. All right, set your eyes low, maybe on your fingertips or on the ground in front of you. We'll start this practice together with a single Om. Take a breath first. Breathe out. Breathe in for Om. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, high mountain pose, stretch up. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center, bend your knees, fold forward. Take a breath in, flatten your spine, halfway lift up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your mat, step back, lower all the way down. Cobra pose, a couple breaths here. Untuck your toes. Bring your hands so they're around the sides of your ribs. Take a breath in, press your feet down, draw your heart forward. And so your elbows draw in and back. Gaze nice and low, take one more breath. All right, exhale, press back, downward facing dog. You can come up through your knees, tuck your toes, and press up. All right, remember the low belly lock we started with in Child's Pose? Work that again here. Tighten your low belly in towards your spine. And consider that your core is part of your foundation. See if you can keep it engaged throughout the practice. And take another breath. Breathe out, look forward, step your feet forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Breathe out, bow forward. Inhale, high mountain. Bend your knees, press all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center, fold down. Lift halfway, bring your hands to your shins. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, rock forward and lower all the way down. Cobra pose, one breath, untuck your toes, breathe in, lift your chest. All right, breathe out, downward facing dog, press up and back. And so just notice if your breath has gotten a little bit ragged or your heartbeat's elevated. Just take a longer breath in and a slower breath out. And this is the awakening part of the practice. It's meant to get you warmed up and moving with your breath for this vinyasa flow practice. Take one more breath. Exhale, look forward, step your feet forward. Lift halfway up. Breathe out, bow. High mountain pose, last sun A, reach up. Exhale your hands through heart center, fold forward. Breathe in, flatten your back. Breathe out, plant your hands, step back. You can even come to your knees and lower all the way down. All right, untuck your toes, cobra, broaden your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press up and back. Land your eyes in one spot on your mat. So I'll encourage you that unless you're looking up at the video for what to do, land your eyes in one spot and just focus on your breath. And take one more breath in. All right, look forward, step your feet toward your hands. Lift halfway up. Breathe out, bow forward. Inhale to chair pose. So we're moving into Sun Salutation B. So instead of high mountain, we're in chair. Be here for one more breath. Exhale, bow forward. Breathe in, lift halfway up. Breathe out, plant your hands, step back, lower all the way down. Cobra pose, untuck your toes, lift your chest. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. On your breath out, warrior one on the right side. So you're going to step your right foot forward, land your back heel down, and press yourself all the way up. And you're going to face toward the front of your mat, reach your hands both up toward your ceiling. Take a deep bend in your front knee. Your hips are pretty open here, but square your chest toward the front. Take a breath in. Breathe out, bring your hands down to the mat. Step back and lower down. Cobra pose, breathe in. Breathe out, downward facing dog. All right, let's do the left side. Step your left foot forward. Land your back foot. And you can take as many steps as you need to get to this wide stance, yeah? All right, reach your hands up. Notice if when you reached up, your shoulders went up into your ears and just soften them down. Spin your thumbs back, pinkies forward, one more breath. All right, exhale, bring both hands down. Step back, rock forward and lower. Cobra pose, breathe in. Breathe out, downward facing dog. And smooth your breath out. I'm going to do that series one more time. And take a breath in. Breathe out, look forward, step your feet forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale, chair pose. Sit your hips back and down. Reach your upper arms by your ears. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, rock forward and lower. Cobra pose, breathe in. Breathe out, downward facing dog. All right, right away, step your right foot forward. Land your back heel down so your foot is all connected in the back. Reach up. Exhale, reach your hands right back down. Step back and lower. Cobra pose. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Left side, step forward. Ground your back heel, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Step back and lower. Cobra pose. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. And on your breath out, bring your knees down. Take a child's pose. And just come back to your breath. See if you can steady it out. Take one more. All right, press yourself up to hands and knees, tabletop. I hope you're feeling warmed up. I'm warmed up for sure. All right, twisting crescent lunge. Step your right foot forward. Come into a low lunge with your right foot forward. Interlace your hands and just place them against your right thigh. Like there was a string tied to the top of your head. Lift the top of your head, lift your chest. Take a breath in, reach both hands up. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart, twist toward the right. So you can hook your elbow outside of your right knee. And then press into your palms to twist. And if this doesn't feel so good in your body, you can take your left hand down, right hand up for an open arm version. Take one more breath. All right, exhale, bring your right hand down, step your right foot back. Tabletop, breathe in. And breathe out. And step your left foot forward. Let's do the other side. So start with your fingers interlaced. Just gently press your left knee forward. And on your next breath in, reach both hands up. Connect your hands in front of your heart, then twist toward your left side. So again, you can use your knee against your elbow. Tighten your low belly in, twist. And if you want the open arm version, you can take that. 2 more breaths. And breathe in. And breathe out. Bring both hands down. Step back. Take a breath in. And on your breath out, press back to downward facing dog. And take a breath in. Look forward. Step your feet towards your hands. Inhale, lift halfway up. Breathe out, bow forward. Press into your feet, lift all the way up, high mountain pose. Exhale, we're gonna do eagle on the right side. Bring your arms out in front, palms face down. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Then bend your elbows, so your palms are back to back. And if you want, you can either connect your palms. If that is not working in your body, grab your shoulders instead. All right, from here, bend your knees, come into like chair legs, hips back. And then when you're ready, take your right leg up and over your left leg. Squeeze everything in. Just land your eyes on one spot. Draw your low belly in tight. Keep your breath steady. Sit your hips low. Reach your elbows up. And on your next breath in, unwind. Stretch it all out. All right, reach your arms out in front. Left side eagle. Wrap your left arm underneath. You can either, again, bind your palms or grab your shoulders. All right, hips low. Wrap your left leg up and over. And some people can bind their toes behind their leg. That's not me. So I just squeeze my legs wherever they touch. And just keep breathing. If you wobble or fall out, your job is to not mind and just breathe. Take one more round of breath. And inhale, unwind, stretch up. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right, some more balancing, airplane pose. Bring your palms to face forward by your sides. Kickstand your right foot behind you. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, soften your standing leg and start to hinge forward. You're going to come into like a capital T shape in your body. With your gaze low, reach up and back with your right heel. Stretch your fingers back to broaden your chest. Take one more breath. And then just hinge yourself right back up. Connect your palms. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, palms back by your sides, face forward. Thumbs out, pinkies in toward your body. Kickstand your left foot behind you. Take a breath in. And on your breath out, start to hinge forward, lift your left heel up. Some people like a bent knee standing, some people like a straight leg. Find what works for you. If the turbulence is there, that's part of it. Keep breathing. Take one more. All right, hinge yourself back up. Hands together, take a breath. Do that again. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, tree pose on the right side. Bring your right foot along your inner left leg. So you can place your foot up on your calf or your thigh, above or below your knee. Wherever your foot lands, press it in and resist with your leg. Take a breath. And then reach your hands up. So again, spin your thumbs back, pinkies forward. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Embrace the wobble. And take one more breath. Exhale your hands back together, lower your foot, step all that out. All right, left side tree. Bring your left foot again along your inner right leg. If you're extra wobbly, you can even kickstand your foot on the ground like this. Connect your palms to start. Balancing is so important to land your eyes in one spot that's not moving, so do that. And then when you're ready, reach your arms up and out. If you want to try something else on, lift your gaze up toward your ceiling. Take one more breath. Exhale, bring your hands back together, lower your foot, step that out. Take a breath. And let it go. All right, we're going to move into the grounding part of this series with Warrior Two. Keep your right foot forward, facing toward the top of your mat. Step your left foot back. So you're going to align your feet so they're kind of on like a tightrope, front to back. Then you're going to bend your front knee. Keep your back leg nice and straight, then reach out opposite directions. Right hand forward, left hand back. Soften your shoulders. Strengthen your back leg. Press your back foot down more. And take a breath. Straighten your front leg, triangle pose. Reach your left hip back, right hand forward. And then take your right hand down to your leg, or if you have a block, you can use a block. Left hand high. Wake up your lifted fingers, spread them nice and wide, but create the action of rolling open from your torso. Take one more breath. All right, exhale, press into your feet, bring yourself up to stand. Move into pyramid on the right side. So you're going to step your right foot toward the right a little bit. Step your left foot up and over. So adjust yourself so your feet are wide apart, like on a train track, with your left foot facing right toward the top and your left foot facing the upper left corner. Take your hands to your hips, breathe in. Breathe out, hinge at your hips and stretch your heart forward. All right, bind your hands behind your back. You can either interlace your fingers or grab your wrists. Take a breath in and stretch your heart forward. And breath out, bow. 2 more like that. And breathe in. Breathe out. Press into your feet. Come all the way up to stand. All right, release your bind. Step your left foot up to meet your right. We'll do the other side. Keep your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. So wiggle it back. Your back foot is about parallel to the back of your mat. Your front foot faces toward 12 o'clock, right at the top. And press both feet down a lot. Reach out through both hands. 2 more breaths. Breathe in. All right, breathe out. Straighten your front leg. Triangle pose. Kick your right hip back. Left hand forward and down. Roll your right side up and open. So land your eyes in a place that makes your neck comfortable. So that may be gazing down or toward the side or even up. Take 1 more breath. All right, bring your hand to your hip. Press into your feet to rise up. Pyramid, left side. Step your right foot up and over. Wiggle your left foot toward the left a little bit more. Bring your hands to your hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bow forward. All right, this side, you can take a bind behind your back if you like, or you can bring your hands down if that fits your body. What I'll invite is that if you lower your hands down and you feel your back hunch up, bring your hands back in a bind behind you to lengthen your spine. Two more rounds of breath. Really press into both feet. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring both hands down to your mat. Step your feet back. Rock forward and lower all the way down. All right, once you get down, you can untuck your toes, rest a cheek, rest your arms by your sides. Notice your heartbeat here. It's really cool to hear it amplified on the mat when you get on your belly. All right, let's move into Locust Pose. Center your forehead to the mat. Flip your palms to face down by your sides. Press your pubic bone down, then lift everything else up. So you're going for length here. Stretch the top of your head forward so your back of your neck is nice and long. Make sure your feet are awake in some way, either flexed or pointed. Reach your fingertips back. Take 1 more breath. And exhale, lower down. Rest the other cheek. Bring your forehead back to center. We'll do 1 more round of that. So face your palms down toward the ground. Press the front of your pelvis down, then lift up. Broaden your chest by reaching your fingers back. Every breath in, lift and lengthen. And then exhale, lower yourself back down. Rest a cheek, rest your arms. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And then just press yourself back. Widen your knees and come into another child's pose. And take a breath. And on your exhale, press yourself up. Come to lay on your back for bridge pose. All right, set yourself up. Try this on. Bring your heels back so far that you can just barely graze them with your middle fingers. And then from there, wiggle them just out of reach, maybe an inch or so forward. All right, press into your feet. Lift your hips, bridge pose. And the idea is to keep your knees about hip width apart and your ankles right underneath your knees. Press down to lift up. 1 more breath. Exhale, lower down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bridge round 2. Press into your feet. Lift your hips. And if you want to open your chest more, snuggle your shoulder blades together and interlace your hands behind your back. And then press down to lift up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower yourself down. Supta, which is a fancy way to say, bring the bottoms of your feet to touch. Let your knees come wide like butterfly legs, butterfly wings. And rest your hands on your body. Longer breath in. And a longer breath out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Use your hands to guide your knees back together. Then hug your right knee in towards your chest. Press your left leg long. Just hover it right above your mat. Flex your toes back toward your knees. Breathe in. Breathe out. Switch your legs. Bring your left knee in. Press your right heel really long. And take a breath. And hug both knees in towards your chest. You can cross your ankles if that feels good. Rock a little bit side to side. All right, come to the center. Send both feet straight up into the air. So you're going to flex your toes back toward your body, press up through your heels, then interlace your hands behind your head. All right, with all this action pressing up through your heels, draw your low belly in, lift your head, neck, and chest, pull straight up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, lower your right foot to the mat. Pulse to the left side for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Bring your elbow in towards your knee. 2, and 1. Switch your legs. Left foot down, right foot up. Pulse right for 9, 8, 7. Keep pressing up through your heels. 5, 4. Lift your left shoulder blade. 2, and 1. Send both feet straight up. 5 more to finish. 5, 4. Draw your low belly in. 2, and 1. Hug your knees in. If it feels better to stretch out long, you can reach your legs long. Stretch your arms overhead. Let your belly relax. Take a full breath. All right, draw your knees in toward your chest. Grab behind your thighs and rock and roll front to back. A few times. All right, from there, make your way to downward facing dog. Some people can gracefully cross their ankles and make their way there. I'm not one of those human beings. So I'm just going to press back like this. All right, from downward facing dog, take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to move into half king pigeon. So from here, lift your right leg high. Then you're going to bend your knee, bring your right knee in towards your right wrist. And you're going to bring your left ankle, so your right ankle, between your left elbow and your left knee, your left wrist and your left knee. So your shin is not quite parallel to the top, but it's kind of at an angle. Flex your right foot, reach your left foot back. All right. So from here, you can start to lower your upper body down. And then notice if your right hip is lifted up off the mat, and just grab whatever is nearby you to place underneath your right hip. So it can be a rolled up towel, if you've got a block nearby, or a pillow, or a book. Just place that underneath your hip for support. You can come down onto your forearms, or you can walk your hands all the way forward and come down. I'm going to stay on my forearms. And just breathe. And this can be a pretty polarizing pose. Either people love it, or it's very challenging. And that's the goal of yoga, is let go of attachment to whether you really like it or you really don't like it, whether you feel like you're good at it or not good at it. Just let all of that go and breathe with what is. Zero need for perfection or getting it right. Take a few more breaths. And on your next breath, just start to press yourself up. If you've got some support underneath your right hip, take that and set it aside. And then press yourself back to a different shape. You might like a downward facing dog. If you need a child's pose, take a child's pose. And if you're in another shape, come back to downward facing dog. We'll move into the left side. Lift your left leg high. All right, sweep your knee forward toward your left wrist. And then land your right ankle somewhere between your right wrist and your right knee. Again, flex your left toes toward your left knee. And wiggle your right leg back. Notice if you need support on this side. So my hip is pretty high lifted off the mat, or it's lifted. Everything's relative. I need support, so I'm going to take the support with a block underneath my hip. All right, then start to walk yourself forward. And some other options here, again, you can stay on your forearms, or if you've got something else nearby, like another block, you can place a block underneath your right shoulder, and then just come down to your forehead. And give yourself the next breath or so to make any last adjustments, and then choose whether it feels uncomfortable or perfect. Just choose to be in stillness and breathe with exactly what is. If it's pain, obviously change your shape, but if it's just a little discomfort, see if you can breathe. And let it be a little bit less of a big deal. And our teacher says that the yoga starts when you're ready to come out of the pose. And just notice if there's anywhere you're holding on to tightness, maybe in your hands, if your fingers are clenched, or if your hips are tight, just breathe into your hips, let them soften. And take a few more breaths. And breathe in. Breathe out. Start to press yourself up. Again, if you've got something underneath your hip, just remove that, set it aside. And then press yourself back. Again, either a child's pose or a downward facing dog. I'll take a child's pose this time since I did down dog last time. And breathe. And from wherever you are, press yourself back to a downward facing dog. All right, from downward facing dog, we're already upside down, and we're going to keep that action going with Dolphin Pose. Bring your knees to the mat. Then bring your forearms to the mat. Grab outside your elbows. So the reason we do this is to measure the distance you want between your arms. Keep your elbows where they are, but interlace your hands in front of you. All right, from here, tuck your toes. Press your hips up, lift your knees. All right, for a dolphin, you might want to walk your toes in just a hair, but keep your head lifted up off the mat. So you can use your forearms to press down into your mat. And this can be a challenging pose as well. It's meant to build all kinds of shoulder strength. Notice if you're gripping in your hands and just let them soften a little bit. Slow, steady breath. You've got it. Roll your inner thighs toward each other and back. Press your heels down. Take one more breath. All right, bring your knees down. Take a supported child's pose. So that means your knees are close. Your ankles are close. Sit your hips back. And then drape your arms by your side. Palms face up with your forehead resting. You can even tuck your chin here. That feels good for me. And take another breath. All right, press yourself up. And swing your legs around in front of you for a seated forward bend. All right. This is called Pashimotonasana. Take your right hand underneath your right butt cheek. Pull your whole right leg back. Do the same on your left side. So what that's doing is it's tilting your pelvis forward so you can hinge from your hips rather than from your waist. All right, breathe in, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Your hands just land wherever they land. If it's on your legs, that's awesome. If you can reach your toes, that's great too. And on your breath in, stretch your heart forward. And on your exhale, fold. And here's a secret, guys. If your hands are here and you've got some attachment to reaching your toes, bend your knees and reach your toes. And the idea is not about having straight legs. It's more about lengthening your back body here. Take another breath. And breathe in, start to press yourself up. All right, let's take a wide-legged forward fold. So keep your right leg where it is. Swing your left leg out to the side. And if you need to adjust based on what your surroundings looks like, just bring your legs nice and wide apart. All right, flex your toes back so your calves press down, your legs are nice and awake. Bring your hands down on the ground in front of you. Take a breath in. On your breath out, just start to inch your fingers forward. And every body is going to be at a different place here. So if your hands are back here, that's your edge, awesome. If your hands are up here and that's your edge, just keep wiggling your fingers forward until you find that nice deep stretch. And once you've found your edge, just breathe into it. Maybe after a couple of breaths, you can inch your fingers a little bit more. Again, notice if you're hunching your chest to hunch up like this and your shoulders forward. If that's the case, again, broaden your chest, lengthen your back. Take another breath. And start to walk your hands back in toward your body. All right, bring your feet back together, facing toward the top of your mat. Come to lay on your back. Guide your knees in toward your chest. Reclining twist. Let your knees fall toward the left. Reach your right arm toward the right. Turn your head toward the right. And come back through center. Let your knees fall toward the right. Turn your head toward the left. Reach your arm toward the left. Take another breath. All right, come back through center. Take happy baby. So happy baby, you're going to reach between your knees. Grab the outside pinky toe sides of your feet. Face the soles of your feet up. Pull them down so that your knees come toward the outsides of your torso. If it feels good, you can rock a little bit side to side. And take another breath. All right, Savasana. Get yourself set up for final rest. You can stretch your legs long on your mat, let your toes flop out. Face your palms up by your sides. Take a bigger breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Just let your mat support your full weight. There's no more work left to do. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. Take a deeper breath in. And let it go through your mouth. Start to generate some small movements in your fingers, your toes. And gradually start to make those movements a little bit bigger. You can stretch your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, make your way onto one side, curled up with your eyes closed. And everything you need, you have right here in this moment. And use your hands to press yourself up. And find a comfortable seated position. You can sit up nice and tall. Again, like that string is back, pulling the top of your head up. Connect your hands in front of your heart. We'll end this practice together the same way that we started, with a single Om. Take a breath first. Let it go. Breathe in for Om. Bring your thumb knuckles to forehead center. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Awesome work. Thank you for joining me for this practice, and take care of yourself.